All right, on this episode of the LPDS, we get into another little doo-doo that I had with Lowe's, or I'm in the middle of having. We get some hotline calls. We got some LPDS current events. And we got a Cage fact. All coming up on this Mother's Day week episode right now. All right, Jabronis, we're back. Welcome back to Libretti Podcast Diary Show. I'm your host, Libretti, the show that talks about nothing but finds the lessons and everything. We try to have a good time doing it. Hope everybody had a good week. If you did, let me know about it in the hotline 202-670-1114. If you didn't have a good week, also let me know in the hotline. And some of you clearly like doing that, which is fine by me because I'm asking for it. I got to plug my computer in here. Stand by. I'm asking for any calls on the hotline, and I'm getting any calls on the hotline. So that's what we're working with here, folks. So tell me about your bad weeks. Tell me why you're mad at me. We'll leave it all out there. It's, and we got some more we'll talk about in the Junction. We got some hotlines in the Junction we'll get to. So, yeah, it's gonna be a swell time there. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. By the time this posts, it'll post on Sunday, Mother's Day. But by the time most people listen to this, who knows when it's gonna be? It'll be well after Mother's Day. I hope you guys said, Happy Mother's Day to your moms that took care of them and got them gifts or made them breakfast in bed and cleaned up after yourselves and all the stuff that you should be doing on Mother's Day to be a good son or daughter to your mom. I called my mother. By the time this is out, I would have called my mother. Not in the same state as her. So we didn't hang out, but we did talk. She's doing well. Don't worry. Everything's fine. I don't know exactly what the rest of my family did for her. I don't know if they all hung out or if she got to see the grandkids or what, but, yeah, recognize your mothers. Recognize your parents in general, but on Mother's Day, recognize your mothers for taking care of your pain in the ass selves your entire childhood. I can't imagine what it was like for my parents having to work multiple full-time jobs only to come home to deal with my smart ass the rest of the night. Plus, my sister's there and Nikki Sticks. All three little ungrateful shits running around getting mad because the meatloaf's too dry, because we can't watch Power Rangers, or because we can't get any dessert. We can't do this. Whatever it was, I commend them. That's why they're crazy now. Because of us. So the least you could do is go thank your mother for taking care of you. And if you had a mother who didn't take care of you, thank her for the opportunity to figure it out yourself. Thank her for being a bum so that you can go and figure out how to survive on your own and learn those lessons. Whatever. Happy Mother's Day. All right, what else we got going on here? I saw this. We're going to talk baseball a little bit here. 2 quick baseball hits. We're going to try to be quick. Last week I had a schedule I wanted to stick to with my life, like my for the day I was recording last week's episode 211. And I wanted to get the recording done quickly, do it quickly, so I can take care of the other stuff. I thought I was going to have a jam-packed day to take that I need to do all this stuff, so I wanted to really keep the episode business. Now I say all the time, I want to keep this shorter and this and that, but I don't really care. I'm just going to flap my gills, and wherever we end, we end. But last week in particular, I actually wanted to cut it. I wanted to keep it tight because I thought I figured I got a lot of stuff to do. I don't know how long it's going to take, so I need to keep this schedule tight. And it ended up being like the longest episode of the year because I just was flapping my gills, running my DS all over the town. And it ended up working out. I got all the stuff done I needed to in the same amount of time, so it wasn't a big deal. So I'm glad. I don't know, maybe because I rushed through. I don't know what happened, but I got it done. It wasn't that big a deal, and we had an extremely long episode of hotlines and stories and good times. So, anyway, well, baseball stuff. If anybody who's a baseball fan, professional baseball fan, I'm sure is tracking the Shohei Ohtani gambling situation going on, where they found out that, or supposedly, allegedly, his translator, Ippei Nagasaki, is it Nagasaki? I don't think so. I really don't think it's the name of a very infamous town in Japan. It's Ippei something, Morigatu, I don't know. He stole $16 million from Shohei Ohtani, the baseball player, and gambled it away because he's a degenerate gambler and a liar. Supposedly, he did that, and Shohei had no idea. Now, I believe I discussed this a little bit in the past when it first came out, like how fishy it was. To give a quick recap, $16 million went missing, apparently, and allegedly it was the translator who stole it all without Shohei or his team knowing and gambled it away, and now he's going to be in trouble for it. And Shohei had no idea that $16 million was leaving his account. Now, Ippei is just his interpreter, his translator, okay? He's not his husband or wife. He's not power of attorney. He's not his accountant or his finance guy. He's just his interpreter. He has no legal on paper power to do anything like take money out of accounts and stuff. And the storyline keeps saying how, Shohei doesn't know, this was his only friend that he can speak to, so he just trusted him implicitly and didn't know that he was stealing from him this entire time. Shohei has a money guy. You don't make $700 million, and this is a great point by the creature when I was talking to him about it, or he was talking with me about it. You don't have $700 million as your salary and not have a money guy, not have somebody taking care of that who has like the certifications and the chops to do something like that. And there's no talk about this guy. Nobody's heard about this guy at all. Nobody mentions anything about a money guy or a finance guy or accountant or anything like that. They just mention that this translator took his money, apparently. So that's where we're at. What I think is happening is they're covering up Shohei actually being part of the gambling because it's illegal to gamble as a baseball player in baseball, and it's also illegal to gamble in California. And instead of giving him the Pete Rose treatment because he's their golden goose right now, and they'll lose the entire country of Japan's market if they punish this guy, they're making Ippei the fall guy. Now, another story came out. I don't know if it's during testimony or what's going on with it, but apparently Shohei Ohtani had a $20,000 dentist bill that Ipe was supposed to pay, and he didn't pay. He took the money and gambled it away. And they're just piling on with this Ipe being the 100% fall guy. I once again, why is the translator getting the money to pay the dentist? Why isn't the translator just translating? Just interpreting the language and translating over for Shohei. I don't understand how he became the middleman for all these financial dealings and how Shohei or his entire team didn't get any sort of text or email or phone call notifications when $16 million was going missing in his bank accounts. I get a text update if I'm on a road trip and I'm at a gas station in a different state buying cheese. I'll get a text message. Hey, did you make a purchase in this state? If not, we'll shut your account. You'll shut your card down and send you a new one for $5 worth of cheese. You mean to tell me he had no idea, no alerts, nothing whatsoever? Nobody knew around him involved at all that $16 million was gone, except for Ipe the translator. Now he's doing dealings with the dentist. Is that the bookie's name? That's what they call him, the dentist. Why would he tell Ipe to go pay the dentist bill? I could see if he was translating for the phone call. Like, hey, Ipe, I'm getting a phone call. It's from the dentist. I can't understand him. Can you translate for me? And then what was Ipe like? Oh, yeah, he said you have to pay your bill for your dental work. You got a cavity, removed and a cleaning. Okay, Ipe, how much was it? He said $20,000 cash. Okay, here you go. Thanks for paying off the dentist for me, Ipe. You're a good translator. Is that what was going on? Was he just tricking him every step of the way? Anybody who thinks this was 100% the translator, like scheming and stealing without anybody knowing for so long, and Shohei and his team didn't know about it, anybody who thinks that is either again on Rob Manfred style on the MLB side of the house and trying to protect the golden goose so they don't lose money, and they're just hiding it and they know the truth, or they're just very, very stupid. And I'm sorry, I don't like to call people stupid. I don't want people to be stupid. But if you believe that genuinely, you're probably stupid. Probably a stupid person, if I were to venture a guess. Maybe like Shohei, who apparently is trying to be like the greatest baseball player of all time, but doesn't know when $16 million gets up and walks off out of his account. I mean, give me a break on that. Anyway, the dentist, I don't know what he's charging. I don't know what kind of dentist that is, but I can't go to him. My insurance deductible does not cover $20,000 worth of dental work. And that's another thing, too. What did Shohei get done to his teeth that cost him $20,000? Was he getting gold teeth? Is that not a question? Hey, I just got a cleaning. Why is it $20,000? Oh, don't worry about it, Shohei. That's what he said. He said $20,000 cash, unmarked bills in a bag, and I'll walk it over to him. Oh, okay, Ipe. I mean, is he that stupid? Are we to believe that arguably the greatest player, the most comprehensive player of our time, is also the stupidest, the biggest sucker? Can the two things be true at the same time? Maybe, technically, I guess. I don't know. I'm trying to think off the top of my head the best players or athletes in their specific sport, and if they were that stupid. Gronkowski, but he's not. He's actually very good with money. He comes off as stupid, and he says and does stupid things. But the guy also he's never touched his salary. He's never used his salary, his football salary, to spend it, to spend it on anything like bills or anything, because he's invested and used his other finance situation to pay for stuff. He's not that stupid. And he's not stupid enough to not realize $16 million from his account is gone. That's crazy. Not to mention, right when when it all happened, when Ipe was found out, the first thing Shohei's team came out with said, because they were trying to protect Ipe initially, and they said, "Oh yeah, we knew about the withdrawals. Nothing to see here, folks. We knew about it. It's fine." And then later in the day, like the same day, they're like, "We didn't know anything about this." And then a reporter's like, "Actually, well, you said you did." And he's like, "Who said we did? You did." And he's like, "I didn't say that. We had no idea." Like, well, the tapes don't lie, buddy. So somebody's lying. So the whole thing absolutely stinks. But I just thought it was a funny story that they're pinning everything on this guy, this fall guy, and he's gonna sing. Eventually, he's gonna come out and sing. So the theory now is he might get Epsteined. He might get Clintoned in prison if he goes to prison, or while he's waiting trial, or at home or something, just to clean up and protect Shohei, protect the golden boy. Not to be confused with London boy. All right. Anyway, moving on. I was watching the Yankee game. By the way, the Yankees doing the same exact thing every week. That's what they're going to do. Okay? That's what they're going to do from here on out. I'm going to talk shit about them. They're going to shove it up my ass for 1 or 2 games in a row right after I post an episode talking shit about them. And then by week's end, they're going to give me a reason to talk shit about them again. Okay? And I stand by my opinions, of my opinions of the Yankees team. Not them as people, as human beings, but their ability as a team. I stand by my initial thoughts of that they're not going to be playoff competitive unless they make drastic changes. Okay? I'm standing by that. Now, I love the attitude. I love the attitude that most of them seem to have right now. That's been going on for the whole season. I love that. They have a good attitude. They seem to care. A lot more of them seem to care when they strike out looking stupid, or when they make a dumb play or a mistake or whatever. And they seem to care about trying to win and work hard. And I like that attitude. And I can see that that's different from last year. A lot different from the last couple years. So I love that. And they're winning some games. And when they play baseball, like regular traditional baseball, it's great to watch. Then they're always successful when they do that. Work the count, make the pitcher work, take advantage of their mistakes, get guys on, get runners on, get runners over, get runners in, and score them. That's simple baseball, right at its purest, simplest form. And when they do that, they're winning games. But when they try too much or they get too cocky and complacent, they fall off. And for whatever reason, the Yankees are like one of the only teams that, well, I don't pay attention to many other teams, so I don't know. I'm coming off of biased information, I guess. But they're either all of them are on fire and hitting the ball, or all of them are dead, slumped up. And that's a danger. That's not great too. You can't have a team in the playoffs happen to all be cold at the same time. They need to have somebody pick them up. There needs to be 1 or 2 people in the lineup at all times, firing on all cylinders. That's what makes a great team. The attitude, One or two guys always firing on all cylinders to pick up the slack. Backups and contingencies. So when people get injured, they have solid backups and playing simple baseball and not trying to do too much. And when the Yankees do that, they're great. And when they don't do it, they stink. Now, what I want to talk about in my shit talk on the Yankees this week is not so much of that, because that's not going to change. That's not going to change the rest of the year unless they get more players to back up and have depth in their lineup and their bullpen. Until they do that, nothing's going to change. That's that. This is the Yankees this year. So I want to talk about Clay Holmes again. Arm prints guy, the guy who wears arm sleeves on both arms, but not long sleeve shirts. In fact, the last game I watched, they showed a slow motion of him pitching, and you can see his undershirt under his jersey, his uniform, is a short sleeve shirt. And then he wears arm prints separately instead of just wearing a long sleeve shirt. And I don't know if it's because he wants, I don't know what it is. I don't know if he wants the option to take off the sleeves without having to take off his jersey and declothe and get topless, go tarps off, de-shirt. Or if he likes the feel of a loose-fitted undershirt but wants a tighter arm sleeve, like a tighter sleeve for more stability, comfort. I don't know what. I don't know why you would do that. I don't know why you would wear arm sleeves and just not wear a long sleeve shirt. The guy doesn't make sense. Not to mention the fact, this is the big thing that I wanted to talk about with him. John Flaherty, who I like, he's now a commentator for the Yankees. He played with them for a couple of years as a catcher, good guy. He's talking about Clay Holmes. The game I watched, the Yankees are up 2-0 in the bottom of the ninth, and Clay Holmes has pitched his way into trouble. Two guys on, like nobody or one out or whatever, and he's all over the place. He can't figure it out. He can't get guys out, whatever. And John Flaherty says, up until this point, Clay Holmes has had a magical season so far, struggling a little bit right now. And I wanted to fly down to Tampa and slap him upside the head and be like, John, who are you looking at? What Clay Holmes are you watching? Are you playing him on a video game? And I know this is what the argument's going to be from everybody. And the Creature and I talk about it exhaustively, and I talk about it with the Wet Cat every once in a while too. The argument is, he's got a 0 ERA. He's shutting everybody down. He's untouchable. Nobody could score off of Clay Holmes. But when you watch Clay Holmes pitch and you see what's going on around him, then you understand, he stinks. And he's getting bailed out by his team or by batters like making stupid mistakes at the plate. Because only as of the last 2 or 3 games, he's actually started striking guys out. Which again is crazy to me because the guy throws 96 to 98 on a fastball with movement. And he's got a nasty slider when he throws it right. And the fact that the guy can't get swings and misses, everybody makes contact. I don't understand how that happens. I don't know what's going on. But up until the last couple games, Clay Holmes was 100% bailed out all the time by his fielders in the field, the teammates in the field. That's what I meant to say. Teammates in the field. How you doing? If it wasn't for them making diving plays or plays at the plate or double plays or whatever, he's getting shelled. He'd have a 10 ERA if it wasn't for them. So when John Flaherty said that, I know he's a good guy. He's a smart dude. He knows his stuff. But it was like, I don't know if he was just trying to be nice and he didn't want to criticize, because he's getting paid by the Yankees or what. I don't know. But I was floored. I was like, magical season. What are you watching? What closing pitcher are you watching right now? Because this guy stinks. His team is the only thing saving him from being the worst closer in the league right now. Every time he goes up to the mound, every single time, everybody gets tight. Like, oh shit, is Clay Holmes going to blow a save? Is he going to ruin this like he did so many times the last couple of years? And I don't understand I don't understand how he's got nasty stuff, but he stinks. That's crazy. He's got nasty pitches, and batters just love getting up against him because he stinks. So that's the Yankees update for now. Clay Holmes is not having a magical season. His team is having a magical defensive run behind him, and he's reaping all the benefits, John Lovett style from Wedding Singer. I don't want to talk about him anymore. He gets me so angry because he's so talented. He could be so dominant as a closing pitcher. And I guess if you look at his ERA, people will think he is dominating right now, but he's not. He gets up on the mound. He's herky, jerky, quirky. He looks like he has no confidence in his ability to get out 1, 2, 3 inning. Everything about him, you look at him, you're like, he's uneasy about this. And he should be dominating. He should absolutely be just dominating the league. Because he's a closing pitcher. He only 1 inning, maybe 2 innings every once in a while. So everybody gets one at bat, and he should be able to dice him up with his filthy tailing fastball that goes 96 to 98 right by you, or buckle their knees with a filthy slider. And he can't figure it the fuck out. Sorry, T Family Show. Anyway, moving on. I'm not making this a whole do-to-do. I'm just gonna blacklist him, I think, after this. But I had another issue with Lowe's. And I put them on like a brown list, if you will. They weren't blacklisted completely, but I had my guard up on them. And that's only because there's 2 big franchise like hardware stores that you can go to. 2 main ones. There's Ace, but those aren't everywhere. Ace Hardware. And then there's Home Depot and Lowe's. So I didn't necessarily blacklist Lowe's initially. And if you don't remember what I'm talking about, go back a couple of years. I had a 2-part series about Lowe's and the grill situation, where I bought my parents a grill. We bought our parents a grill for Christmas. And 5 months later, we got the grill for free after a whole slew of incompetence by the Lowe's customer service people. So that's what we were dealing with. And I put them on that list of like, I'll go to Lowe's if I have to, but I'm trying not to. Now, I went to Lowe's recently because they're right across the street from me. I can walk to Lowe's. And I needed a multi-tool so that I can clear out the old sealant and grout in the corners of my shower so I can reseal it. And I didn't want to do it by hand. I wanted the multi-tool, the electric or whatever, to be able to do it. Because my whole shower is all tile, all around, up high ceilings, whatever. So I didn't feel like doing it by hand with a razor and the little saw, whatever. It would have taken too long. So I go to Lowe's. It's right across the street. It was right before I went grocery shopping. I was like, I'll go to Lowe's and get some of this shit. And excuse me, at Lowe's, I don't remember if it's at the Home Depot like this as well, but at Lowe's they have the tools on display, tied down, and then you had to call a representative over to unlock the little cabinet underneath so they can give you the box, like a new tool, the new version in a box. And that's what I did. I got some humphead kid. He helped me out. It took about 5 minutes for him to match up the tool I was pointing to the box right below his face. But whatever, we got to figure it out, or so I thought. I get the thing home. I don't use it for a couple days. Like I wasn't using it for a couple days. So, all right. Fast forward, I go to use it so I can go get my bathroom situation updated. And I open the box. And inside the box is random pieces. No, like there's a bag. You know how when you buy something new, there's the box and you open the box and then it's in a sealed bag and then you open the bag. Well, there was a bag and there was unsealed bag. Okay. I take this bag out. There are a couple of used saw blades, multi-tool saw blades, used. And then old used multi-tool that I think they don't even make anymore, like a discontinued old version, 12 volt. They're up to 20 volt now, Craftsman. It's a different color. It's old, years old. You also used, no battery, no charger. So somebody just put this in in the box, taped it up, and was like, "We're selling this. What sucker is going to buy it?" And lo and behold, that sucker was me. Just like the grill I originally purchased for my parents, that they gave me a used one. They did it again. I don't know if they did it on purpose. Like, it's like they did it on purpose. I want to give people the benefit of the doubt, but after dealing with Lowe's and that nightmare of a situation, they did it on purpose. Like they saw me on the cameras and they're like, "Hey guys, we got him. Give him box number 6 in the cabinet. That's the one." And it's a used piece. Now I have to go back and I have to assess the situation, and I have to figure out if I'm gonna get this fixed amicably, or if things are gonna get dicey again. And I feel like the government at this point, I feel like the military industrial complex and our government at this point, because when one war ends, you just put yourself in another war to keep the machine moving, to get the money going, to keep the complex happy, whatever. That's what I feel like, because I'm good. I do what I do. I do war. Trenches of war. That's where I live. And it's almost like I'm subconsciously trying to feed the internal military industrial complex in my soul. Because as soon as the gate war ends, now I got to deal with a potential. We could be on the brink going into an election year, or the brink of another war. I guess the script is not just written for the government, it's written for us too, internally. So I'll let you guys know how that's going to go. I haven't gone back to Lowe's yet, but I'm going to, and it could get ugly. I really don't want it to. I'm tired. I am tired from war and focusing on the business, and I need a break from it all. Okay, so I can't be dealing with this right now. But no matter how tired and unwanted this would be, I am, and unwanted this would be, I would go full board 100%. I would. And that's what I don't want to do. That's what I'm worried about. It's going to kill me. The enemy will never kill me. I will kill me inadvertently from burnout, from over war, too much war, overdose on war. That's what's going to happen. So stay tuned for that. I think that's all we got for the current events, if you will. Real quick, little tinfoil hat soapbox for you guys when we're talking about current events and war and politics and all that crap. By the I don't care anymore that people say I'm crazy about this stuff. I don't care. I'm going to still say it, and you're going to look back and you're going to be like, oh, maybe he's got a point. Every 4 years, I say the same thing, and it ends up being true. And it's not. This is not my opinion on it. This is just I'm just reading the tea leaves. The protests on campus going on around the same time, just in time for summer of election season. Nobody else thinks it's strangely similar to the George Floyd riots that were going on 4 years ago, right around the summertime during election season. Look, I'm not crazy, guys. You might think I'm crazy, and you could say that's preposterous or completely different things, this and that, blah, blah, blah. The particular thing that they're rioting might be different, but that's it. Okay? That's it. I'm begging people to just hear me out. Just entertain the thought. Just pretend I'm sounding logical to you for a second and entertain the thought and go through the information yourself before you just cast, you have the witch hunt, you cast me away. Because it's every 4 years. Every 4 years, there is some riot or chaos internally here for some reason that's not really important for the U.S. and is not anything that actually is what people are saying it is. There's always that. Easy, Randy. There is always that threat of war. We're on the brink of war. You need us. We're on the brink of war. You need us. And then there's eventually some sort of like race-related thing that will happen that'll get people up in arms, or a gun control-related thing that'll get people up in arms, or an abortion thing that'll get people. Like, there's always one other thing. It's just crazy to me that it's the same playbook. We're getting worked. Anyway, my tinfoil hat, that wasn't even the tinfoil hat shit. The tinfoil hat theory, based on the fact that Joe Biden has done zero for any sort of campaigning whatsoever, basically. And he is continuing to get worse and worse to the point of like, I don't know how he's functioning without strings on him. People walking him around. And this is not Democrat, Republican. This is just like, I'm watching this, like, if I saw this guy, if he was in my family, he'd be in hospice. He would be in hospice. Or we would have a live-in nurse at the house to take care of him. Okay? He can't be president. He can't greet people at Walmart. And I'm not saying that Emperor Trump's any better, because I know that's always the argument from both sides. If you talk shit about Emperor Trump, their response is, well, what about Biden? And if you talk shit about Sleepy Joe Biden, the response is, well, what about Trump? They're mutually exclusive. Okay? I think they both suck in their own right. Are there any positive qualities with them? Maybe you can maybe argue if you're on team either one of them, you can make the arguments, sure. And I'm not here to advertise or advocate, for any one of them. I just think they're both really not good options for this country. We can't do any better. We have the actual power. I know people don't think that we don't have the power because the Republican and Democratic parties, they're the ones who nominate the candidates in the primaries, and then they tell us who we're going to vote for, like who we should vote for and this and that. No. We could just not vote for them. I know that's crazy. I'll say this every time, and I know people will think I'm crazy every time. But until we come together and just, with our votes, not vote for these people, and either write in or come together and pick somebody else to write in, write into who we're going to vote for, they're going to continue doing this. That's just how it keeps happening because we're letting it happen. We're making up every excuse in the book on why we can't vote for a third party or a different candidate or a write-in or this or that. And they're just excuses. Now, if you actually think that one of those two guys is the most capable to run this country, then you vote for him. That's fine by me. I disagree wholeheartedly, but if that's what you're actually doing and you believe that, fine. But I really don't think many people do. Yet they're still voting for one or the other. Now, Joe Biden, back to the crazy tinfoil hat theory. He is quickly deteriorating even more to the point where he can't walk anymore. He's walking funnier. He can't even stand without standing funny. He's reading the teleprompter. This is not a joke, folks. Everybody is sweeping it under the carpet. They've been doing it for years because he messed up during, 4 years ago. He's been messing up the teleprompter for a long time now. But it's literally every time now. He is just reading the teleprompter, whatever it says. And if there's a mistake, he's reading the mistake. Like when he read a couple weeks ago, he read the word pause, which was an action for him to pause. And then yesterday or a week ago or whenever you're, he's reading the teleprompter for a person's name, and it says in parentheses, last name. He's like, I'd like to commend Ron, last name. That guy can't be president, folks. Okay? We don't want that guy being president. All right? And I'm just speaking about him. I'm not speaking about the emperor and the other candidates or anything like that. Okay? That guy cannot be the president of the United States. He cannot be the leader of the free world. He can't be the leader of an entire country. He can't even read anymore. Okay? We got to stop it with that. But they're going to stop it for us because the crazy tinfoil hat theory that you hear first is that he's not going to be the Democratic candidate for president. Okay? Because he's so old and decrepit and demented and can't function anymore, plus the fact that he's done virtually nothing for campaigning. Emperor Trump is in the middle of a bunch of indictments for everything. And after each trial, day in court, he's on the road campaigning and doing rallies and stuff. Now, again, I'm not saying he's better than the other, but I'm just saying he's campaigning. He's actively campaigning in the midst of other stuff. And Joey B is not, which makes me think they're going to announce very soon because the campaign is going to hit. It's going to be officially here, and they're going to be on, expected to do debates and this and that. And they already said they don't want Joe Biden debating. They already said that publicly. So what I think is going to happen is he's going to be gone. He's going to announce he's not running for obvious reasons. And they're going to either have somebody else run for president, like Gavin Newsom will be the nominee, somebody like him, another guy who sucks, and they're gonna just hope he's really good looking and he's a smooth talker, so hopefully people forget what he's been doing to California and his hypocrisy and lies that he got caught in, and the fact that he sucks at his job and he's also a stupid person. And we'll just put him up there because at least he's coherent and he looks the part. And that's all we care about is looking the part. So we'll throw him in the ring. Maybe they'll have that other idiot who slept her way to the top, Kamala Harris. And that's not just me being this is not a sexist comment. She said it. That's what she did. And the judge she slept with also admitted to it. And he said he made a mistake having her pass, law school or whatever she was doing because she slept with him. He regretted that, and he said it publicly, but he's a crazy person. She's not. Anyway, they might have her be the first woman president for a month or two just to check the box of we got the first black president and the first woman president. and the first black woman president, us here. So don't forget to vote for Democrats because we did all that and we care and we're progressive and we're open. And then they'll have Gavin Newsom come in because she's so worthless. They can't. She would lose. She would get defeated. Like it would be 330 million votes to 0. That's how bad her approval ratings are. So they can't have her run for president. So they'll have like a slick back hair Gavin Newsom type of guy. He'll be the nominee. He'll be the candidate to go up against the emperor, the orange man. And then they'll say, well, Donald Trump is so old. Gavin Newsom isn't. He's young and fertile, and he's ready to rock and roll and be a cool guy. Look at his hair, and he's hot. He's a hunk. And he can read a teleprompter. So that's the president, right, guys? You'll vote for him, not some old, whatever made-up name that they make up for Emperor Trump, not some old orange, racist, fascist pig, rapist. So that's how they'll do it. That's what I think is going to happen. Maybe I'm wrong. This is just an assessment based on what I'm seeing out there in the world right now, in the country right now. Let me know if I'm wrong, if you agree or disagree, and then we'll come back to this. If it doesn't happen, I'll admit I'm wrong. If it does happen, we will have a parade here. I really wish my picks were on like DraftKings or something so people can place bets because you'd win a lot of money betting with me. Okay? I'm not a smart person, but I've been right an awful lot despite what people want to believe. So, anyway, that's it. We'll get into the good stuff now, and we'll step into the cage.
Okay, let's run.
All right, today's Into the Cage segment is proudly sponsored by Petey's Prank Poop. Do you want to scare everybody out of a public pool to have it all to yourself? Do you want to make your nieces and nephews laugh hysterically while their mother looks at you with disdain over the absolute lack of maturity you possess as an adult? Then get yourself a Petey's Prank Poop today. Unlike that cheap plastic and rubbery trash you find at Party City, Petey's poops are man-made, freeze-dried turds, so you're guaranteed to trick people into thinking it's real poop, because it is. So to get some Petey's today, visit www.funnyfarts.com and use the promo code TURTLEHEAD for 29% off your first stack of prank poops. Anytime a real sponsor wants to make themselves known, it'd be really doing me a service. I don't even need money. I just don't want to have to write these anymore. Anyway, the Cage fact. Everybody is familiar. A lot of people are familiar with the comedian and actor now. She's really just an actor now. Tiffany Haddish. Excuse me. She's a stand-up comedian. Mainly, she's been doing movies. I haven't seen much of her stand-up comedy in a little while, actually. I'm sure she's still doing it, but she was the female CIA agent in The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. She was in the CIA with Ike Barinholtz was the other agent. Looks like Skip Stiegel. She was doing an interview, I don't know how long ago, recently, and she revealed, her book came out. She wrote a book. That's what it's called. That's why it came out. That's why she's doing an interview. Her book came out. Should have wrote that down. Her book came out. I forgot the name of the book. I curse at you because I love you or something like that. I don't know. But in the book, she has a chapter about her first orgasm. Can you say orgasm on YouTube's and Apple's and Spotify's? I guess so, because you could say fuck. So, sorry, T Family Show. She talked about her first orgasm, and it was while watching a Nic Cage movie. And it wasn't just watching a movie; it was at the movie theaters. She details the whole story. Now, I'm gonna caveat this. Each chapter of her book, each story was a story from her past and then a lesson and what she's learning, like from, an outcome out of that. This was the only story that didn't have a lesson or a moral. This was just something she wanted, just a memory she wanted to share that she holds near and dear to her heart. She's 17 years old. She's with her boyfriend at the time, another 17-year-old kid. They go to see Face Off in theaters. We're talking, 1998? Face Off, theaters. I wish I saw it then. I wish I was able to see it in the movies then. Or I wish I was allowed to, I guess I could say. She's in there. They start touching, and then they start making out in the movie theater. And then she said he starts getting handsy, and she kind of like lets it keep going. He gets his hand up her dress, her skirt, and she looks up at the screen and sees Nic Cage's baby blue eyes in Face Off. And she said in the interview, in the article, and in the book, she just decided that's when she's just going to release and succumb to the pleasure of it all. And she just lost it right then and there. Blew it all out. Pruned up that man's fingers over while looking at Nic Cage's baby blue eyes. And then she went on to say, this is not a family show, by the way. Okay. And I apologize to any of my relatives who are listening to this and getting all, uneasy, but these are facts. These are Nic Cage facts that need to be discussed. Then she goes on to say that since then, whenever she saw Nic Cage in a movie, she got the tingles down there, the vapors. It was just like in the episode of Seinfeld where George is sneaking food into his little sexcapades, and then when he goes to the diner and he sees a plate of French fries and food, he gets all hot and he wants it, and you associate it with the thing, the big O. So that's what she did. And she said for years, every time she watched Nic Cage movies or saw him on anything, she got the tingles down there. And then she had to film the movie Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent with him. And she said the only way she was going to be able to get through filming this movie is she had to tell him the story. This is before her book came out, because her book just came out. And she said, I have to tell you this story. Whenever I see your blue eyes, this is why, blah, blah. And he tells him, he's like, wow, that's crazy. She said he was respectful and a real pro about it. And it put her at ease, and she was able to sort of release that tension and make the movie and be good. It was like that burden of Cage was on her, and she released it again. And then, as she says now, she's good to go. She she's got a weight off her shoulders, but when she sees those baby blues, she gets a little bit of the tinglies down there still. So I know how you feel, sister. I know how you feel. That's the Cage facts, folks. All right. Moving on over to the Junction. We'll spin the logo up. Happy Mother's Day, everybody. The Mother's Day episode. We're going to get to some hotline calls. We got 5 calls. Dang. 5 hotlines. That's awesome. Let's get to the first one here. Stand by 1 second, and we'll play this first call.
All right. This is clearly the union boss. I want to understand something here. You let London boy harass you constantly during your work, right? Ignoring your text messages, right? Getting up in your business when you're trying to mow. Okay? He's clearly not a friend. He's clearly frustrating. And yet, you're going to go out of your way to get his lawn taken care of. You're going to mow his lawn. You're going to go above and beyond his request to borrow a lawnmower. and you're going to get it mowed by a professional. And yet you ignore my request to incorporate Nic Cage into the top three. I feel like this is a good request. I think it will increase your audience pool, and it'll show the audience that you're actually listening.
All right. Thanks for the call there, Union Boss. I think he's got other calls. I just played them out of order, but thank you for the call. Listen, I always appreciate the calls, but I got to call out the BS when we hear it, just like I expect the BS to be called out on my end. First of all, yours was not a request; it was a demand. Very different things. Okay. Second of all, above and beyond, I'm not mowing his lawn. I'm not going above and beyond his request at all. He was looking to borrow my lawnmower to sell it. So if anything, I'm protecting myself by not allowing him to borrow my lawnmower to go hawk it or break it or something. Side note on all that, I didn't even have to do any of that. I called my landscaper, or I texted him to see if he could come by, and then somebody else already mowed the lawn for him. So I said, disregard. All is good. So I got out of it scot-free, at least in that regard. Third of all, most importantly, and this is where I have to think as a leader of unions and an adult, you would have to take. I would think you would take this step back and consider this point right here. Okay, London Boy has a mental disability. Okay, he is on the spectrum. All right. I don't know if it's full autism. I don't know if it's Asperger's. I don't know exactly where it is. I know they don't say Asperger's anymore because apparently Dr. Asperger was a bad guy back in the days of the World War IIs. So that, that's an offensive word now. I still say it. I don't care. He's got a mental disability. Okay. So I would think you'd want to think twice before you compare yourself and your situation and your demands to the guy with the mental disabilities requests for money and landscaping services. Okay? And how I handle and navigate those requests differently. All right? I would think you would want to take that step back and be like, I guess they are different situations, and I really shouldn't be comparing myself to the guy who has a mental disability. Unless you want to, you're more than welcome to suggest that you also have a mental disability. If you did, yeah, I would absolutely treat the situation a lot differently. I would understand why you're coming at the show with such anger and why you're gaslighting the fans into thinking that I'm some sort of a monster who doesn't listen to the people. That would all make much more sense. Because as somebody with a mental disability on the spectrum, I would understand why they're not thinking about everything, taking in all the information, and they're just making up stuff. It makes more sense because now you're not making up stuff. You just are uninformed because you don't have the capacity to be informed because of the disability, which I understand and I empathize with that. So if that's what you're suggesting without having to without wanting to admit it, that's fine. I understand HIPAA. You don't want to release your medical diagnoses and stuff like that. I understand that. But yeah, that's a different conversation. And I apologize for not realizing that you were in the same boat as London Boy. And I will now, from here on out, treat you the same exact way I treat London Boy. As an adult with a disability who needs special attention, different than other men and women out there. And I'm sorry I didn't see it earlier. I've known you for a long time, and I did not realize that you too were on the spectrum. So I will, in the future, treat you like that. And I know people are going to come back and be like, what do you treat them differently? What are you, a piece of shit? You don't treat people equally? Whatever, if you want to spin zone it into that, sure. Whatever you want to think, buddy. But tell me this. Do you have the same interactions with somebody who's a quadriplegic or a mental health disability? Maybe they're autistic or they're deaf or whatever. Do you have the same interactions with them as you do with people who don't have that? The answer is no, you can't. Okay? I can't go play soccer with Superman, Christopher Reeves. Dan Reeves is the old Giants coach. You can't play soccer with him anymore. Well, he passed away, but okay? The interactions are going to be different. Yeah. Do I treat him with respect? Still, absolutely. I don't see him any differently because I don't see him as less than because of it, but you have to interact differently. Each person you interact with should be unique to that person, regardless of what's going on, because each of us are unique in our own ways. So yeah, absolutely. I will definitely treat you and interact with you much differently now, knowing that you're dealing with this sort of issue. And again, I apologize. So thank you for the call. Thanks for revealing that. I know it was probably tough of you to do that. So thank you for that. Let's take the next call here.
Hi, buddy. I just listened to your show, and it seems like maybe that little boy needs some money. Maybe you can connect with me. I'm sure I can find a couple things you're able to do for me. Thanks.
All right. Thanks again for the call, Mickey Mouse. I'm not connecting you with London Boy. Stop it. All right. Stop the obsession just because the word boy is in his nickname. No, get off of it. All right. Thanks for the call, Mickey Mouse. Let's see what else we got here. We'll go on to the next call.
Hello. We met at the Women Leadership Conference. I also have a leadership business. I was just the tip leadership, and I just wanted to follow up. I'm listening to your podcast, and I really feel like you just need to listen. Okay, that was a big scene during the women's conference, to listen, and you didn't listen to your audience. Your audience wants you to incorporate the big three in some sort of Nic Cage review. I think you should do that. This is just a consultant from just the tip leadership, and we met at that conference a few months back. Right. Try something new. Maybe listen to your audience.
All right, thanks for the call. Just the tip consultant. Here's the thing. I went to that conference. I was the only leadership consultant there. I certainly would have remembered that voice if I was there. And yeah, but thanks for the call. Thanks for again trying to spin zone this situation into something it's not. Because I hear you. I hear the demand to change things up. And I hear it from one person very loudly, but just one person. And yeah, you can absolutely argue that one person makes up a decent percentage of the viewers and fans of this show, which is fine. But my position still stands on the matter. Until the approach is changed and the respect is given, nothing's changing here at the LPDS. If you want that in your life, I'll send you a microphone. I'll send you a copy of the software program to record stuff on. I'll give you a whole tutorial on how to create your own podcast, where to host it, how to post it, how to schedule it, how to edit it, all of it. I'll give all that to you for free, and you can go do it. That's fine too. And you'll probably be much more successful at it than I am based on how you feel about the whole situation. So I'll do that for you, madam, of just the tip leadership, and we'll get you up and running, because that's what I like to live in abundance. I'm never going to gatekeep anything in my life that's good. So I want more people to have podcasts and put their voices out there. So if that's what you would like, let me know and I'll help you set up for success. And you can have a really good podcast. It sounds like a great concept, honestly. I wish someone brought it to me, to my attention in a respectful manner. That way I could have used it on my show too. So, but yeah, thanks for the call. Let's see. Do we have, what else we got here? Yeah, we got a couple more calls here. Stand by.
Anger toward the union makes you strong. Complete your journey. Strike down, London boy, and complete your path to the dark side.
Darth Vader, thanks for the call, buddy. I'm just imagining this poor bastard hiding from his family, coming up with all these characters to call the hotline in, and has a good time doing it. So thanks for that. I'm not striking down London boy, but I will say this from a Star Wars perspective, I was a Darth Vader fan. All right. Not so much the Emperor, but I like Darth Vader, and I thought Luke Skywalker was, at least in the beginning, was kind of a wiener, and he was annoying. Han Solo is where I would have. That's the guy. All right, if you're in the Star Wars community and you want to succeed the most, Han Solo is the guy. He lived in that gray area. He helped out weenie Luke and the rebellion and all that. I don't know, for the good of the land and blah blah blah, and what was supposed to be the good guys. But he also danced over on the other side to get his, to take advantage of the situation. He lived in the gray. He played in the gray area all the time, and he thrived in it. And I like that. So Han Solo's my guy. I also like Darth Vader. He's legit. So thanks for the call, Darth Vader. I don't remember what you even said. But all right, we got one more call here. Stand by, and then we'll get everybody out of here and on your way.
I've been hearing all the callers calling in, doing their comedy routine bits, so I figured I'd give you a shot at one of mine. What's the deal with Rhode Island? It's not a road or an island.
Shit. Thanks for that call. Oh man. Yeah, that's what the hotline seems to be. It seems to be ladies and gentlemen calling in with their own comedy bits, and I don't know if they're trying to test them out here to take them on the road like an open mic night, or if they're if they think they're legit funny and they want to put them out for the masses. I don't exactly know. I'm not mad about it, as long as I bring the bits on. Okay, bring all the calls on, all the types of calls and the comedy bits and the jokes and what have you. As long as you know that if I don't think it's fun, if I don't find the humor in it, or if I don't find any cleverness in it, I'm going to say so. And that could be on me. It's subjective. Funny and humor is subjective. It's art. Excuse me. So what I think is funny or not funny does not absolutely at all suggest, tell you anything about what is actually funny. It's all up to you. But if I don't think it's funny or I think it's lame, I'm going to say so. So you're more than welcome to keep calling in with the bits and stuff like that, as long as you know that. And the fans will too. You'll get it in the comments on YouTube and stuff. They'll be there, So just be prepared. But I encourage it. In fact, I wish more people would come in like actual comedians and test their bits, and I'll rate your comedy bits here on the show. So yeah, do that. 202-670-1114. call in the hotline and we'll rate your comedy bits. Also, Rhode Island is not a road nor an island. It's a good premise. That was actually a premise in that was a good Jerry Seinfeld, like a good satirical Jerry Seinfeld. I know people are going to be like, that Jerry Seinfeld sucked. I could do mine better. Do it better. Call it in. Hotline 202-670-1114. But that topic was a joke on a Saturday Night Live skit, Coffee Talk with Linda Richman, by Mike Myers. And he was getting verklempt, and he wanted to give the fans a quick second to think about, he's like, I'll give you a topic to discuss on your own. Rhode Island is neither a road nor an island. Discuss. So that was funny. Good little callback there. So thank you guys for the calls today. I love the hotline calls. I love the bits. I love the garbage. I love the trolling. I love the malarkey. Keep it coming. It's all fun to me. So thank you for that. But that's all I got for today, folks. Before we go, really quick, the big three, the three pillars to staying strong and being a better, happier, kinder, healthier, more genuine human being and spreading that goodness and positivity throughout the land. Number one, don't be a shitty person. Be a kind person. That's not number one. I'm losing my marbles. Let me tell you something. The burnout's real, folks. I don't know if I mentioned this as much earlier, but the burnout is real. I have been working my ass off, doing stuff for Spearhead on the backside, working out a lot, getting garbage sleep, and I really do need a break. Another reset day would be nice. So, number one of the big three, exercise every day. No matter what it is, whether it's physical, mental, or emotional, get your exercise in every day. Go do a workout, go for a walk, read a book, pray, meditate, do breath work, whatever. Get that exercise in so you can be healthier physically, mentally, and emotionally. Number two, the hardest one to do, don't be a shitty person, be a kind person. And when the opportunity arises to be shitty and mean to somebody or disrespectful or negative, take the step back, detach from your emotions, take the step back from that situation and just omit yourself from it altogether. That way you're minimizing the negativity and the garbage going on in the world, and you're giving yourself the freedom and the capacity to go focus on more positive, productive things in your lives. Number three, the most important one, be genuinely thankful and grateful for all the good you have in your lives. And you could do this very easily by taking 5 seconds to actively think about at least one good thing in your life. And then think about what your life would be like without that thing and how shitty that would be. And that immediately puts you in a state of gratitude. And you just do that more and more each and every day until you're living in gratitude. And you couple that with not being a shitty person. You couple that with exercising every day. And I promise you, you're going to be a better, happier, kinder, healthier, more genuine human being. And you'll be able to spread that positivity and goodness throughout the land. Thank you guys again for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Tell your friends and enemies. Go check out the Spearhead Leadership YouTube page. Let me know what you think of those videos too while you got a chance. And don't forget to hit that hotline, 202-670-1114. Love the hotline calls. Thank you guys again. I love you all. Stay strong.